What's up, guys? It is Jonathan with One Big Impact. Let me start by saying this is not financial advice because I'm probably the wrong person to do that. But I want to make a video really quick for you guys on should I buy Bitcoin? Does Bitcoin make sense right now? Is Bitcoin failing? We all know that Bitcoin's going a little bit crazy right now. So my biggest way to, the easiest way to explain this is, in 2020 we had the 2020, in like the early 2000s or whatever it was, we had a lot of like excitement about the internet bubble and stuff like that, like the .com bubble. I'm losing my train of thought. But a lot of people got in on that and made millions of dollars. So first of all, if you are trying to get absolutely ridiculously rich off of Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, or anything like that, I think it's probably a bad idea. The reason is because if you're the type of person that has enough money that would venture to get the possibility to be able to make a lot of money then off of these things, then you probably already have enough money and you should probably invest in maybe something a little bit less volatile. But if you're like, you know what, I'm a risk taker and I want to do it anyway, then by all means, go ahead. If you think you're going to get rich off of Bitcoin, I don't think that's going to be the case unless you had enough money to be able to put in there. So Bitcoin realistically is not going to go to $100 million or whatever. And it may, but even if it does, it's going to take lifetimes. And who knows what the hell the government's going to do as far as restrictions and taxes and stuff by that time. I'm sure it'll be ridiculously high and you won't be benefiting as much as you could if you stayed in like stocks or something like that. So I recommend it, like, and I'm not recommending like this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. But what I would say is that if you do invest in these things, understand that you could lose everything tomorrow. I don't want to say go as far as saying it's like a gamble necessarily, but I do want you to understand that by getting into this type of thing, it is so much in its infancy that it could go either way. Now, the way I understand and my personal belief is, as far as like the direction of everything, obviously we know lately Bitcoin has took a dump, Ethereum, and pretty much all coins have taken a dump, whether it's because of China or because of Elon Musk or because of different people talking about like Doge and Shinubu or whatever the hell is going on out there or whatever. First of all, if you want the most stable, it's probably going to be Bitcoin and Ethereum. I would just say those are probably going to be the the most stable coins over time. That doesn't mean that there's not going to be more stable coins that come up, but right now I would say they look like they are going to be like the best options. Now, in the same sense, if you look at it from this perspective, okay? Some reason I came up in just the right era, okay? When I was growing up, I had pagers, but I didn't have one because I didn't have the money to get a pager, okay? We didn't have cell phones, and at best, some of the contractors had like a brick phone, and that was very rare and it wasn't very common. And then they started coming on with like Nokia phones, those things you could like throw across the freaking street and they would still work. But I didn't have my first cell phone until I must have been like 24 or something like that. And I got a pink Razor phone. And I don't know if you remember the Razor phone. That was my favorite phone. I ended up leaving it on the tailgate of my freaking lowrider and ran it over, which was a horrible day. But anyway, now aside from that, if you look at people my age, but maybe just a tiny bit older, because I'm 40 years old, and if if somebody is just a tiny bit older, they are not really tech savvy. Now, you could venture to say, well, it's because you have a YouTube channel and you're constantly on social media or something like that because of your job and your business and you're a YouTuber or whatever. But I think it's more than that. I think I just barely caught the trend, okay? By the way, I'm sweating because I just cooked a bunch of food and I just ate and I'm like, my body temperature's up, girl. Body temperature's up. Damn, boy. So, I just caught the trend. I have smartphones. I'm good with phones. I don't want to say I'm the best at like social media or anything like that, but I'm pretty familiar with it and I can do lots of different things and stuff. But I do understand tech and I appreciate it and I appreciate good technology. But somebody just a little bit older than me doesn't really understand it. And, you know, like the generation right before mine, they're like, text a picture, what? You know what I mean? Because they are so much further detached. I caught it right as the cell phones were a thing and I got one. So if I wouldn't have got one, you know, if I would have stuck with the flip phone and never progressed through like the Blackberries and all that and stuff like that, and then what are the damn slide phones with the sidekicks and stuff like that, if you didn't go through all that process, you would have never really evolved with the whole technology age, I think. So understanding, now we're going to tie all this in together. Back to computers. When I was in 6th grade, we had played Oregon Trail, and it was just really basic, like orange screen, just little dots and stuff like that. It was not, there was no internet and stuff like that. But when I got older, I remember I got a computer, and I don't know what it really did. I think there was a couple of small games on it, but I was a full-grown adult by then. I was like probably 20-something years old. And I remember putting it in my closet, and I had a little desk there, and I used to just play around on it and stuff like that. I don't remember exactly what I would do. It was pretty basic. Like, there wasn't much to it. And then I ended up getting like a laptop, and that crashed, and went through all that process. Anyway, it came up. I got a computer here. I got a laptop at work. Cell phones. You know, I've had tons of tablets and different things, which to me are completely freaking worthless. I don't know what the hell they're good for. But round out, coming back to the current generation. So the generation before mine doesn't really understand tech. So to them, you know, the baby boomers and, you know, the people that were, you know, like between like maybe early 40s to the 60s and stuff like that, as far as age is concerned, they understand like stocks, pensions, Social Security and stuff like that. My generation understands, I guess, credit cards, pensions don't exist, retirements are bullshit. Like, that doesn't really happen. You know, some of my generation stick with their jobs for long term, but realistically, there's not really much. You know, maybe if you invest in like a 401k or something like that, then you get something. But for the most part, people don't really offer as much as they used to back in the day. So it's not like you don't have the loyalty to a certain company because they're not giving you the loyalty to them necessarily. And there is some out there, but very few. Now, the generation right behind mine, whether it's my kids or people in their 30s or late 20s or something like that, understand, well, whoever's paying me the most is basically where I'm going to go. Wherever the most opportunity is where I'm going to go. Because it's all about instant gratification, instant gratification, instant gratification. When I was younger, maybe 10 years ago, we did the eBay thing or whatever. That was all new and it was really big and hot and stuff like that. And then came along this stupid thing called Amazon. And I was like, I had an eBay store, I had 15,000 feedback. I actually had a business that I ran predominantly. I used to send stuff all over the damn world. But it worked in my benefit because I got to kind of see how it works to use a card to be able to pay for things. And what I saw by doing that was I got scammed a couple times, and it was a bad thing, but also a good thing because I understood and I became guarded and understood this whole imaginary world that is, you know, just putting in numbers on your computer and stuff like that can have a massive benefit on your life or a massive problem on your life. So you got to be, weary and careful and stuff like that. But the people like the generation before me are like, oh, your password. It's like they are ridiculously overly freaked out about everything. My generation's like, whatever. Just set up a new email, blah, 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 and it's good to go, right? The generation after mine, the younger generation, it literally transacts everything online. Now they've got this new thing. I don't want to say new thing because that makes me sound old. Now they've got this current thing that like DoorDash, Uber came out a few years ago. All of this stuff, it's like trending in a direction where we don't really understand exactly what's going on, but like taxis virtually gone. Like, I don't care where the hell you are around the world, but in 5 years, I don't see any taxis being anywhere. Like, and even if they are, it's some union thing or whatever that's trapped in it or whatever. Like, you could do Ubers. Now they're going to have like they have driveless cars. What the is that? You know what I mean? Like, even I'm like, I think it would be cool, but what the hell? But it makes sense because we do GPS. I literally, if I want to drive to New York, I don't use MapQuest. I don't have to print out sheets. I don't use a map book. And I've gone through all those processes in my life. I started out with a map book. Then we had MapQuest. We print out the directions and go for a drive. Now we just enter the thing into our phone and we're hoping that it gets us to where we're going. 99% of the time it's accurate. So why would we not get in a car that does the same exact thing? It's literally doing the same exact thing. So I kind of understand that whole idea. Now we have this Uber, we have the DoorDash, we have, Uber Eats, we have all these things, all these companies that you just go on your phone and pop, 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 and it shows up at your door 20 minutes later, whether it's ordering your groceries or 10 pounds of gold or whatever the hell you want to order. It's just there, like, boom, it just pops in. It's a very digital lifestyle, okay? And businesses are closing at a rapid rate. Things that I grew up with, Toys R Us, Kmart, Mervyn's, JCPenney, Sears, all of those things. Walmart, I would venture to say, will probably be only one of the big major places that's going to last the tell of time, because there will always be somebody that wants something instant rather than waiting. But even then, Amazon, for instance, is getting so rapid fast. Like, there's some shit that I order and I get it the same day. What? How is that even possible? Because they have a hub near me. I don't know if that's possible everywhere, but they have one in Phoenix and they're like same day shipping, pay $5 or whatever it is. And none of it uses cash. Okay? So to think of Bitcoin and altcoins and all of these things as something that's going to necessarily be a transactional like currency, probably not Bitcoin, maybe like XRP or something like that. And I'm not even here to like talk about like what would be a good option, but I'm just saying we are very, 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 very comfortable as a society, at least my bracket and further, using digital currency. Basically just a bunch of numbers thrown into a thing and then poof, it's there. It's the same thing like when you get a paycheck. You don't get a paycheck anymore, okay? It's just digital numbers that get thrown into your account. I mean, some people might get a paycheck, but for the most part, it's all direct deposit, right? It's just digital numbers through digital currency, digital this, digital that. The kids that are coming up now are buying like digital weapons, like on their gaming systems and stuff like that. They have like accounts that aren't even linked to shit. Like, and it's just like, it's second nature. So what I'm saying is, if you don't think that digital currency, whether it's Bitcoin, XRP, Cardano, whatever the hell you're thinking it is, if you don't think that that stuff is not a viable option for the future, and that even though these dips are freaking scary and stuff like that to a lot of people, I think regardless what happens to these coins or anything like that, I think they are probably pretty good investments, not investment advice, but because overall in the long term, we will get away from using so much cash. We're already comfortable with swiping. We're already comfortable with just putting our numbers in, saving the freaking number, and just going with it, right? So I think to be in the best, it would be in your best like intelligence to at the very least, educate yourself on what it is. If you're like 75, probably not a big deal. Like, it's not going to be your lifetime. But if you're like 40 or 50 or 35 or 30 or 15, 18 or whatever, I think if you get into these things and you really learn the system, you're going to have the competitive edge going forward. Would I say that you should put your money in here in a non-investment advice way? I think regardless of like what the taxation stuff is, because if you're looking at it long term, I think it's a good idea. I think it's something that can put you in a better situation down the road. But I don't think that if you're trying to, throw $100 in there and you think you're going to take it out next week and it's going to be 10,000 or something like that, you got to be realistic. It's not that it couldn't happen, but it's just that if that were going to happen for everybody, everybody would be doing it. It's just like the lottery, you know what I mean? Like, one in 10 billion people win the lottery. There's not even 10 billion people on the planet, Jonathan, so let's reiterate that. One in so many 100,000 or whatever win it. So I think thinking of it with a clear mind, understanding, don't put your life savings in this stuff. Don't make sure you can, feed your family and pay your bills and stuff like that. But if you did want to invest, maybe you are a person that invests 20% or something like that. Maybe you could take 10% towards altcoins or Bitcoin or whatever, and 10% towards, your stocks and stuff like that, or 5% towards this, and then 15% towards something that you believe in or whatever. But realistically, like anything, stocks, altcoins, cryptocurrency, any of that stuff, index funds, mutual funds, any of that stuff is going to be a possibility to lose everything. Let's be completely honest. That is why you have the possibility to make a lot or to lose a lot. And that's just the way the ball bounces, unfortunately. My take on this whole dip and stuff like that, who cares? Think of yourself as a long-term investor, not somebody that's a day trader and trying to get rich. Because if you are, you probably wouldn't be watching this video, first of all. But second of all, make sure you just think of these things as a forward-moving future-type currency or future-type situational thing that we will use just to make things more better. That's a horrible way to end my conversation. But we're going to make things more better. Have a beautiful day, guys. I hope this information helped you. If there's scammers in the comments, please do not respond to them. They are not affiliated with me or anybody else. It's just people being ding-dongs. Have a beautiful day. Like I said, be stronger than your excuses. If you like my video, please like, share, comment, subscribe. I would love to hear what your take is on everything. Have a good day, guys. Bye.